Welcome to Talk Flix with Kids and Chicks. I'm Krystal.
And I'm Nicole.
And we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man trailer, Far Away From Home. You want to hold that baby?
You just did yours.
So, I just watched the trailer. I'm a little bit late. And it was okay. Obviously the graphics and stuff were good.
Okay.
I think what happened is this. We just had a really good Spider-Man movie that came out that was, like, to me, off the charts. And so this trailer was just, like, in the middle. Like, it didn't really, like, ooh, like that for me. It didn't bring that reaction. It was just like, okay, this is interesting. Excuse me. My turn.
Okay, why don't you go watch Granny.
But Mama.
And go get your snack. Why don't you go get your bar?
But Mama, that's right here.
So,
no, why don't you go get your bar? Come on.
I personally, as people know, I have a little bit of a problem with Marvel Spider-Man, but that had nothing to do with the trailer. I feel it's really just the fact that with the Into the Spider-Verse, and it was just like so much, and it was just, the trailers for those were just so like on another level of excitement. This one, like I said, it was interesting. I'm interested, but I'm not like, whoa. So that's basically how I felt about that trailer. And I didn't really necessarily get a feel for the storyline as much as I thought I would. Like, I know he's like not trying to be Spider-Man because he's on this field trip. And then,
but see, that's the whole basic conflict of Peter Parker versus Spider, because he wants to have this normal, average teenage or adult life, and the responsibility of Spider-Man always ends up coming first.
Right.
And so this is saying, okay, I have been through all of these things in becoming Spider-Man. I just want to take a normal vacation with my friends. I'm leaving the suit at home. And I think, of course, predictably, he needs the suit.
I think, I agree with that. But maybe in the trailer should have had something he's saying like, bro, like, I don't want to be Spider-Man anymore. Like, I want to.
Can't.
I mean, I understand that it's the first trailer. There'll probably be more. I get it. And it's kind of like with Endgame where I'm like, okay, I'm interested, but I'm not like, what? So that's basically how I feel about the trailer. I really, like I said, the trailer to me didn't really establish the true conflict other than the actual villain. So that's why I'm just intrigued, not like, whoa. And of course, the graphics look great. The CGI obviously is always on point. And so I think this actually happens after the snap. I think it's, well, let me clarify that. I think it's after they've already rectified the situation and they're back on track because, you know, inside of Infinity War, they were going on this field trip. So I feel like somehow they've undid the snap and all of that is taken care of, and then they're going on the field trip that I guess they were originally going on before he got the spider sense that something was going down.
I don't know, I didn't get the sense that this seemed like one of those like summer things, you know what I mean? Like those summer enrichment things that you could do. Because I know I've heard a lot of people kind of tied into, well, that's where they were on their way to when they were on the school bus. And I just don't see everybody being on a bus.
I mean, going to the airport. I mean, because they're going.
But then where would all of their luggage go?
It's on the bus.
But you didn't see any of that in any of the shots of the bus.
Girl,
because I mean, a bus is pretty much all seats. There's not really room.
Or it could have been another bus behind them that had the luggage.
I mean, who's to say?
Who's to say?
But I just
and we
feel
didn't
like
get
there's a
that
lot
much of the buzz. I mean, it could have been in the very back. Like, you know, it really just kind of... I mean, I don't know. That's a good point, but, I mean, it's a movie, so sometimes stuff like that aren't necessarily explained. It's like a minor detail. But, yeah, I think that is where it is. Somehow they've changed the timeline to where the original trip is back on course. So yeah. When does this one come out?
July 5th.
And when does Endgame come out?
In April. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is like after whatever the resolution is in Endgame, and then it's on course for Spider-Man to do whatever he's going to do. So that's how I feel. But I feel like we need to talk about it before we end the show. This is something that's been heavy on my heart here. And this is, if they reverse the snap, some people that are dusted, I guess, will come back. Right? Is that maybe?
That's the problem. And see, that's where people who are upset saying that undoing the snap takes away stakes and things like that. Mm-hmm. We have no clue whether everybody gets to come back or just some people. And we don't even know what sacrifices have to be made to even undo the snap. Right. We have no clue. And I think that is the amazing thing that they did with these two films being back to back, is that you have a huge cliffhanger that you have to wait an entire year to get an answer to, which is, are these people really coming back? And everybody always says, well, of course they're coming back. Maybe not. There are many other directions that if they really wanted to, Spider-Man, Peter Parker didn't have to come back. They could have went on and started doing Miles Morales Spider-Man if they wanted to. And just like with Black Panther, it could have been M'Baku as the Black Panther, or his sister Shuri as the Black Panther. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people were giving them unnecessary grief. They said that these two movies, because they were closing out this phase, were going to completely change the landscape of the MCU. And I feel like that statement lets us know that something huge is going to be happening in this movie as a result of the snap. So I don't feel like you can just offhandedly say there's no stakes because everybody's coming back. We don't know. And even if they do, the important part is the storytelling that takes place in getting to that point. That's the exciting part, is because there might be some really juicy story plot points in the between of the snap and the undoing of the snap that is really going to blow people's minds. That's what I'm excited about.
I'm excited about that too. And I mean, I think we need to address the elephant in the room, which is, it's some people that we kind of want to stay dusted. I feel.
Like who?
I feel Star-Lord needs to stay dusted because he was stupid. I don't care if he don't come back, because you ruined everything. And so,
well, if that's the case, then Thor should have been dusted, because Thor could have ended it.
He didn't go for the head?
Because he didn't go for the head. But he wanted that moment to say, I told you so. I told you this was going to happen. And as a result, all was lost. So if anybody is really ultimately to blame for Thanos completing his mission, it's really Thor.
It's really Star-Lord, because he had the first opportunity. He had it right there. He had to beat
Thanos. Thanos beat the mess out of the Hulk without even using the gauntlet. So who's to say, even if they got it off, that he didn't get it back?
Well, you say he beat the heck out of who?
The Hulk.
He had it
on.
And he had at least one stone.
He had one stone, but it wasn't lit up. It has to be lit up for you to know that he's using it. And if you go back and watch, it wasn't lit up. He was using his sheer power and his better fighting skills. You know, he let the Hulk put all the, get his little energy out, and then all of a sudden he just hit him with that two-piece and a fire.
I think just having that thing on might have just gave him some extra but I don't know.
The thing is, even in some of the other movies, and this is before he had any stones. They were saying that he was the most dangerous beings in the universe. So yes, he had the ability to whoop the Hulk without even the stones. So I mean, and which is fitting because you've had all of these movies of everybody beating all these different villains, and then you're having this big, crossover event bringing all of these heroes together. So it has to be for a villain that can beat up even your strongest member on his own. To, even validate the fact that you need to bring everybody together in order to be. And I thought it was great that even with all of them coming together, they still couldn't beat him. So it really leaves you like, well, what else is
could have beat him, but people were not on one accord. That is what happens regardless. If there's no unity and everybody on the same page, the mission is basically a waste.
Yeah.
So,
what I really like about what you just said is it brings it right back to Civil War. The reason why there's so much discord because of Cap and Tony not seeing eye to eye. And I love, that's what I really like about the MCU is that you have all of these movies separately, but the way that they flow together in a narrative is amazing to me. I never thought that anybody would be able to do something like that. That is, I mean, it's unbelievable. When you go back and you watch some of the earlier stuff and see how it ties in with stuff that you've just seen in the theater, it is amazing that they've been able to keep there's a few things that don't line up, but the fact that they have so much continuity between these movies,
it's good writing, and it reminds me of Saw, the Saw universe. How we used to be like, that person wasn't even in there, and you go back and watch the person, like, what? Like, I can't believe they used this character.
Saw started to fall apart.
And no, I'm talking about the first three. The first three.
Yes.
It was like, I remember being in the theater, like, wow.
Well, I remember because we went back
that little character that we
went back and we rewatched it because we didn't believe it. It was like they just making that up.
Yeah, we went back and watched it. Sure enough, that was true. So,
and that's how I feel. When you go back, I can go back and rewatch a lot of these movies because you glean so many more things. You're like, man, that statement from this character is so accurate when you look at where they are here in this movie. When I go back and watch the first, and I remember the first time I saw the first Avengers, I hadn't had a lot of knowledge of any other superheroes besides Batman and Spiderman. Those were always my two and X-Men. So I didn't really know a lot of the other characters' origin stories and stuff. But now that I've kind of got myself familiarized and I've seen all of the films, and you go back and you see the interactions between these characters in the first Avengers, it's just like, wow. That is the foretelling of Civil War all the way back to Avengers when you see them getting ready to fight. That, to me, was like, gosh, these people are awesome at what they do. And that's why I feel like you got to give the Spider-Man character some room to breathe. I know you don't like it right now, but I feel like if you give them the space that they need to really, draw out a lot of this character, when you go back and watch Homecoming, I think you'll be like, okay, I understand what they were doing in this movie because they're taking their time. They are not rushing anything, which is what happens with a lot of films. They're trying to do so much in one film that a lot of the story suffers for it, So I understand the issues that you have with Spider-Man, but after, going on this journey with them for so long, I trust what they're doing. And I think that they are going to make this the best iteration of a live action Spider-Man that we're ever going to see. I think so. I think if you give it time, you'll see. You will see that this will be the best iteration. You have the best person playing, but he's actually a teen. Well, he's a young adult now, I think, but I mean, he looks like he's in high school. They're putting him in high school. They're giving him the time to really come into his own as Spider-Man. He's not off the bat the best superhero out there. He's learning from mistakes. He's making mistakes. He's learning from mistakes. I think that's awesome.
I just don't like people getting their movie hijacked. That's all. So talking about Mysterio, since you said that's one of your favorite. Why? What is so special about him?
Well, number one, because he doesn't have any really like superpowers or anything. He's just a regular dude that has all of these special effects, and he knows all of these magician techniques and stuff like that.
So he's a Doctor Strange. sort of.
Well, because Doctor Strange uses magic, but he's not using. He's an illusionist, so he's given the exactly. He's a magician slash illusionist. He has all of this equipment to make himself seem like he's something that he's not, and I just think that is so cool. And we, as I can recall, we haven't really necessarily seen something like this. Really. So it's something really different. It's something that I never thought that anybody would go for a live action movie. I actually thought that we would get Kraven the Hunter, which I hope we get him soon too. He's probably my other favorite too. Mm-hmm. But I think this is going to be very interesting. I think it's definitely going to up the villain levels, because I've noticed now, because people have been complaining about the villains in Marvel movies. And now that they've, got everything, they feel like the villains are just throwaways. And for a lot of films, I guess you could say that. But now these characters, they have the same amount of depth as the heroes. Thanos was, top tier. He was so complex. And you saw the same thing.
He's really a
Black
hero.
Panther.
He's really a hero.
Girl, he's not a hero.
He's trying to save the world.
He's convinced that he's right, but he's a villain because there were other.
Technically, he's doing the same thing. He's trying to save the whole universe, not even just the Earth.
He's a maniac because he felt he had to kill people to do that, and you did not have to do that.
Girl,
you just did not.
Death is a part of life.
It is, but murder is also a sin. So,
is it murder when he just snap a finger and it's just dust?
I was gonna say, you saw the same thing with Killmonger. This complexity where you made people say, well, I can see his point. He might have went about it the wrong way, but I see his point. It's no longer I'm gonna do bad things because I'm a bad guy. It's I'm doing bad things because of A, B, C, D, and F happened in my past. It's amazing to see some of the same complexities that you see from life imitated in art.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's our show. Just Talk Flix with just chicks. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.